Red Bull is amazing. Welcome back, guys, to the second half of our Lost Thunder set review. Gonna just jump straight back into it with Ian, Jacob, and Al again. Say hello, everybody.
Hey,
Hello,
guys.
everybody.
Yes,
I'm here too.
It's been so long. We've had a massive break in between videoing these or recording these, and then I wasn't able to make last week. So sorry for that. Ian and Jacob totally killed it though, so that's absolutely awesome. But less about that and more about shiny cards, boys. Starting off with Zeb Striker from Lost Thunder. This card wasn't actually on our list for whatever reason, but is definitely one of the better cards to come out with this set. Did anybody pull one at pre-release?
I did, yeah, yesterday. Yes, actually.
I didn't pull one, but Johnny gave me a free one, so shout out to Johnny if you're listening.
He doesn't know. He doesn't know how good it's
He
going to be.
doesn't know.
I mean, it's essentially there for the ability. It's kind of like a pseudo replacement for something like Octillery that we've seen in the past, and it is once during your turn for your attack, discard your hand and then draw 4 cards, or you may discard your hand and draw 4 cards. Really nice little card to just help out with consistency. Great for budget decks to get some more draw support. I love it. I absolutely love it.
I think it's a great card. Is it better than Octillery?
Yes.
You think?
I think so. Not in the same style of decks. Octillery was great for stage 2s because you could hold on to something like a rare candy and then draw 2 or 3 more cards to maybe get into like an Ultra Ball or your Gardevoir or something daft like that. But like, I feel as if Zeb Striker will be so nice in something that's a little bit more explosive, isn't really that bothered with discarding cards. I like it. I think it's better. Drawing 4 guaranteed, I think, is better than Octillery's like possibly draw 1, maybe not draw anything. I think the guaranteed aspect of it is better for me.
I think potentially, though, the discard part of it could be a negative thing. Like you saying, holding on to a rare candy. If you need to discard that rare candy, it's...
Discard's a good thing on its own. People run RPGs or TV Reporter because they want to get rid of their specific cards. So sometimes you just want to dump your whole deck as fast as possible.
Sometimes, like, you want to discard energies to get them back on a Malamar or a Naganadel, or, you know, it's definitely... There's definitely call for discarding some stuff in the Giratina decks with Cofagrigus and stuff. Like getting the Giratinas in the discard pile might be quite nice, although you're kind of limited on benching that deck anyway. But I don't know. I like the deck that it keeps reminding me of is like the old Night March stuff that you just didn't care what was in your discard as long as you had a Joltik in the active. I feel as if something like Zeb Striker would have been fantastic in those decks. So maybe it sees more playing expanded.
Well, that's the deck that would want Zeb Striker instead of just waiting for Dedenne GX. Because he's coming, apparently.
That's true.
Might be waiting a while for that one. And I like him, man. I like him. It's nice to have an extra option other than like Oranguru and draw support Pokemon. I feel as if we lost Octillery from the rotation and it hurt.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think like decks like Buzzwole really suffered when they lost Octillery.
Definitely.
I don't know, is Zeb Striker just a replacement in a Buzzwole deck for Octillery? I don't think it's quite that simple. You
can't Brooklet Hill it, so
that's an issue with it as well. I don't know if it's quite found exactly where it needs to go, but when it does, I think it can be super powerful.
Definitely want to watch out for. Okay, next on our list, we've got 3 super interesting cards. Now, I am super excited to play them. It's the Unown Damage, Hand, and Missing ability Pokemon, and they are pretty broken. Well, they're not broken. They essentially have an ability that says you can win the game, and that to me is broken. But the conditions are so strong. So, each of them all say you may choose to win the game if you meet this condition. So for damage, you have to have 66 damage counters on your benched Pokemon. For hand, you have to have 35 cards in your hand. And for missing, you have to have 12 supporter cards in the opponent's lost zone to win the game. And the unknown has to be in the active. Now, they look amazing. Like, come on, man. Like, these have to be fun. They have to be fun.
I really want to play the hand one.
I want to play the hand one too.
Yeah, hand is a good one. Hand is the one that's possible.
The hand one, I've seen a couple of ways to do it. So the first way I've seen was with Sylveon GX and Alolan Sandslash. So you Sylveon GX to Magical Ribbon 3 cards, and then you Alolan Sandslash 4 of on the bench to just draw a card, and you just get essentially 7 cards a turn. You just keep drawing, you keep drawing, you keep drawing, and then you use Virizion GX, which Jacob's choking to talk about, to use its GX deck and pick up all the cards that you're not using. And that's how you get 35 cards in your hand. Now, that's a cool way of doing it. The other way I've seen of doing it is Zoroark GX, trade away metal energies, and then use Mount Coronet to bring the metal energies back. So you keep cycling through metal energies, and then like eventually you'll use like Fisherman's and stuff like that. And then once again, Virizion GX to pick up everything on your bench. So yeah. Jacob, what does Virizion do? Tell me.
Well, for the first attack, colourless, you're drawing 2 cards, which at pre-release was really, really good, especially when I didn't have much draw support in the deck. So to get that starting off was pretty good. The GX attack, however, was what blew me away, and I think yourself as well when we were playing.
Yep, definitely.
The fact that you can essentially pick up anything and put it back into your hand. It's not just bench. You can pick up your active. Obviously, as long as you keep one Pokemon in play, you can pick up everything else. So I think you had quite a lot of damage throughout the board.
I did.
And then I picked them all up, and that's like all the damage just gone. So
Like,
that was
it does
insane.
allow you to pick up all of your Pokemon and immediately lose the game, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, but I don't think that's good.
Well, you could do it, but why would you do it?
Put in a limitation that you couldn't just do that, but apparently you can.
You spent so long
So don't
wondering
misclick if you're playing online.
you spent so much time wondering if you could. You didn't decide whether you should.
Yeah. I'll try it online if you want, but I don't see why you would do it.
You never do that.
The two
Like Unknown lets you immediately win, Virizion lets you immediately lose for only 1 energy.
Super powerful.
The 2 energy attack, it was okay. I don't really see it doing much damage in standard per se. You're doing a max of 130 if you play a supporter that turn, which in your normal 60 card deck isn't that hard.
It's essentially Gallade's attack, right? Sensitive Blade.
Yeah.
The Gallade that people played in Gardevoir for a while, and maybe just vanilla with Octillery. It's a great attack. It's a fantastic attack for DCE, but that was for a DCE on a stage 2. So a 2 grass type attack, like, I do quite like it if there's a way to make it a bit faster. Maybe in something like Sceptile, a one of Virizion could be okay. Just to have like a big attack on your bench, like, I don't know. It's tricky. I quite like the attack because it's Gallade's attack, and Gallade was good, and that makes me think that this should be good.
Yeah, but Gallade things were weak to Gallade. Like you use
True.
Gallade in your deck to fight against Pokemon that were weak to it.
That's
Whereas,
a good point.
What's weak to grass? Okay, fine. There's Lucario.
Gallade had telepathy, which was busted on its own. It was really good.
Yeah, premonition.
And he was a non-GX attacker.
Yeah.
True. Yeah, I just feel as if that's. I feel as if it should be good, but I don't know why it has to be. It doesn't have to be, I guess. But I think that the issue is, as you say, yeah, like it was good because it was an alternative type. If this was for like colorless cost, it would be a lot better. But then if you're playing it as a grass type, like because you have to use grass type energy, then you're going to have other grass types in the deck, so it doesn't really need to be there, I guess. I don't know.
I suppose you could play it with like unit energy or something like that. So
Possibly.
if you were playing like I don't know, a fire or a water deck and you really wanted a grass type attacker or something,
Yeah, it might be
it
It's
reasonable.
feels
open to attacks
clunky.
only use colorless deck just for those two.
It uses colorless for the other two attacks, yeah, but for the actual sensitive blade attack, it needs double
It
grass.
needs actual energy. Big
Yeah,
boy energy.
rainbows or something. Yeah, but no, these unknown cards are busted, man. Like getting back to them, they're like really crazy. Like I love the idea of just being like, opponent, you do what you got to do, but I'm just gonna try and get cards into my hand. Like that is my game today. I did hear about there's like some infinite loop with the damage unknown, so it revolves around stuff in expanded, which means the damage one will probably get banned in expanded. And
Well,
it was like,
not necessarily. Like, you need 66 damage counter. So
yeah,
even if you have, like, I don't know how the loop works, but if you have, like, 2 Pokemon with abilities that you need on your bench,
yeah,
if you have, like, 3 Snorlax and EVGXs on your bench, and
it
you put
was
them all
like,
down to 10 health each, well, I mean, you still need, like, 3 huge GX Pokemon.
the way it was doing it was with Reuniclus, Frozen City, and Klefki. So you put the Klefki down, you move the damage somehow. I forget how you did that. You put the Klefki down, you move the damage, you attach the Klefki, the Steam Siege one you could attach as a tool to something, and then one of the abilities on something like you just pick the tool back off, and you literally just cycle and cycle and cycle until there's enough damage on the board, and then you just win the game. The problem is it creates like a state where you just win the game by getting out these Pokemon so quickly. Because all you would do is focus on getting them out, and then
like,
just
you
create a game state where you could win in turn
Unknown
2 or something.
in the active,
Yeah,
and Klefki, and Reuniclus, which is a stage 2. Like, and
something like that.
enough Pokemon to put the damage counters on. And, like,
It's-
none of them can get knocked out by Zoroark GX on the first.
Yeah,
And, like, it's still, like, hard to do. I don't know if it'll get banned.
I don't know.
Maybe it's just too fragile to actually work.
See it. I need to actually see it in action to see how busted it actually is. But I seen some people theory crafting it, and I was like, oh, okay. I don't do expanded, you know what I mean? So like, it was just one of those like, oh, that's kind of interesting. Unknown missing, giraffe rig, I guess. But yeah, there's nothing that really helps that. But
Unknown missing, like, by the time you've put 12 supporters into their lost zone, you might as well just keep going, put their whole deck into the lost zone, and just mill them out.
just mill. Yeah, it's not good. It's not the best one. I like the hand one. The damage one interests me somewhat. The missing one I don't like. But yeah, I was raging to find out one last note, because I know we've spent a lot of time on the unknowns. One last note, I was raging to find out that they were all rare, because I thought this was going to be a little fun deck, little commons or uncommon unknown cards. Like, oh look, Unown Hand this week, guys. They're all rare. And how annoying is that?
They don't want to encourage people to play degenerate combo decks or stall decks.
Yeah, this sounds like the exact kind of deck that guy we spoke about a while back who was playing, I can't remember his name, but he's playing Steelix and Hoopa.
Yes.
And then
Well,
before
like,
that, he
Unknown
was
Hand
playing.
fits in that deck because it stops people from just trying to cycle their deck until you run out of time, basically. And Giraffe goes in there as well, because that can actually stop people from cycling their deck.
He played Heatmore Raichu at one point as well.
Yeah,
This is the guy that Al's got a poster of, and he's
Yes. Sal's idol.
he's gonna like top 8 some international or something with Unknown Hand or whatever.
Like, it'll
And
just
wait.
be a
it's gonna be like,
one-off.
what?
I can't
And
wait.
it'll win him a big game, and it'll be amazing. And everyone
Al will
will like
rejoice.
stand up and clap.
Everyone else will roll their eyes. Al will throw celebration streamers parties, all the whole lot. Moving quickly on, the next card on our list is Geratina, and kind of at the same time, Coffee Egregious. Ian, tell us all about these cards. I know you're excited about them.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to playing this. So, Cough Egregious is obviously stage 2, psychic type, 120 HP, and its attack is called Spirit Juggling, and it does 10 damage plus 30 for each Pokemon you discard off your bench. So, obviously, in standard, you're maxing out there at 160 by discarding 5 Pokemon. So, Giratina, we're playing in this particular deck for the ability, although it's a pretty decent attacker as well. But its ability is when it's in the discard pile, you can put it onto your bench, and then you place a damage counter on 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So you can see the combo straight away. Obviously,
Yeah, it's definitely there.
every turn you discard the Giratina to do the damage with Cough Egregious. You bring them back, spread a bit of damage with them, and then do the same thing over and over again. It's not going to be amazing. I don't think it's going to be like top tier best deck in format or anything like that. It's weak to darkness, so that's a wee bit of an issue. It's only got 120 HP anyway, but it's a wee bit of an issue, and like Zoroark doesn't really need to fill a bench to knock it out and things like that.
Yeah, it's quite a few issues.
But that being said, it is a non-GX attacker. You can spread a fair whack of damage with the Giratinas. You know, you can be dropping like 3 or 4 damage counters a turn. And then Cough Egregious himself can do some pretty decent damage. You know, 160, 190 with a choice band. You could play Spell Tag in there to spread some more damage counters. You could even have a baby
You can play
Lily.
Tapu Lele GX and get rid of it, so it's not on your bench.
Yep.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff. There's loads of kind of cool stuff you could do with it here. I think it's really interesting.
I also like the Giratina for Malamar decks, even just a one-of. Being able to just jump out the discard pile and then be an instant threat, 130 damage. I like that. It's a definite answer to a lot of like one prize attackers we have in the format that something like Dawn Wings won't really want to hit with its 120 ability, or even bringing it up onto the bench, putting something on your opponent's damage, or a damage counter on your opponent's Pokemon, so that Dawn Wings and Necrozma can take a knockout. I really like it in Malamar. I think it replaces something like Shining Lugia probably as a one prize attacker in Malamar decks. I like it. I think it's a really, really nice card. Coffee Egregious I'm not so sold on. I think the combo is definitely there. It's just whether that Exodia hand board state fills itself every turn. I don't know.
I mean, you have access to obviously Ultra Ball, Mysterious Treasure in that deck. You can play Nest Balls and Great Balls and loads of ways to search them out. But obviously, you need to play Rescue Stretchers.
It's the evolved attacker, 2 energy cost. The Giratinas are all in the discard. It's the combos. Obviously, there is such a really cool little combo, but I just don't buy into it. I think it'll be fun for like a Thursday night.
Yeah, that's kind of how I'm treating it. I don't see myself, unless I start playing it and it just kills everything, I don't see myself playing it a cup or anything like that. But it is something I think is going to be a lot of fun.
Fair enough. You played Jacob with this and like a kind of light version of this at pre-release, didn't you? You had like 1 Coffee Egregious, 1 Giratina. I saw something happening with it.
Yeah, I did. I don't think. Did I play Jacob at this point?
No, you didn't play. You didn't play me.
Oh, you played me.
Yeah, I played Jordan as well. And I had 1 Giratina, 1 Coffee Egregious, and I actually got it rolling a couple of times.
Yeah.
Which wasn't too bad. It kind of gave a little glimpse of what the deck perhaps could be.
Yeah,
it did well. It wasn't the best boy in your deck though. That would have been Sudowoodo.
Sudowoodo was awesome.
Mix herb.
Sudowoodo, that was an awesome play. Sorry to go off on a tangent here, but the new Sudowoodo that has the attack, is it reply back or rally back, something like that?
Respond. Reply strongly or something.
So it's got 110 HP, and if it was damaged by your opponent's Pokemon during the last turn, has to be through an attack. It does 20 damage plus another 80, and it's for a single fighting energy. So I opened that going first, attached a fighting energy.
pre-release.
Al opened the Alolan Meowth that does 70 damage on turn 1 if you're going second. So obviously he hit with it because he needed to try and get the damage down, try and get the
I
HP
thought
down.
about
rather.
it for a while.
He did. But
That.
it was 100% the right call, but he didn't know I had 2 mixed herb in hand. So I just dropped
do you
down
know,
and healed 90.
I seen that play. That was a funny play.
That was hilarious.
And like even better, that was the game that
the joy
I
that
won because Ian decked out.
Yeah,
Because I used Amphros' ability 3 times. Last 3 cards in his deck.
Oh,
Yeah.
Kept him paralyzed while he
it was insane.
was a real cracker.
It was a great
Amazing.
game, but it was mental. So many cool things.
Next up is Sigilif GX, and I pulled one of these, and I was pretty happy to get one of these guys. I think it's decent. I know you guys kind of slated me when we were talking about this. I think it was either off camera or last week when I didn't record. Yeah, won't win that. Mirror Counter is the ability. If this Pokemon is active and is damaged by an attack from your opponent's GX or EX Pokemon, even if it's knocked out, put damage counters on the attacking Pokemon equal to the damage done, which is amazing. If you one-shot this Sigilif, you're just doing all that damage back to your opponent, assuming it's a GX. But yeah, love it. Sonic Wings, 80 damage, not affected by resistance. It's Psychic, colorless. It's not great, let's be honest. And then Psychic, colorless, Intercept GX, 60 damage. This attack does 60 damage times the number of energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. Again, I really like that. In something like Malamar, where you could get this rolling on one turn, get into the active, and then just swing for a big Intercept GX knockout, and then force your opponent to respond with, like, top of my head, something like a Blacephalon or a Buzzwole that's doing enough damage to knock out Sigilif, but then is taking all that damage back to them and probably knocking them out. I love it. I think that's awesome.
As a one-of in a deck like Malamar, definitely. I don't see it as a deck in its own, but it's a really good support card for something like that.
It just puts up that little air of confusion for your opponent, you know, like, oh, can I knock this out? Should I knock this out? Will this knock me out? I love it. I pulled this like in my prize packs at the end of the day, and I was just like, yes, this is exactly what I needed.
The thing
this
is,
has made me happy.
You only really need one anyway. At absolute most, you would play 2 in a Malamar deck, but you're more than likely playing 1.
One is enough.
And it's good in the right situation. And Malamar, in general, it plays a lot of different attackers, so there's no reason that this couldn't go into that rotation as well.
What's the retreat cost on it, actually? Because you could strafe into it.
2.
2, that's kind of poor. Oh, well, I suppose you could use Alter of the Moon and Umbreon to strafe into it. So you could strafe for 30, bring up Sigilif, strafe for... Yeah, that's the play right there. Umbreon, Sigilif, guys. I've just made the deck. I made the deck. The cards are ordered. It's good, guys. It's good.
Right, I've changed my mind now. It's Jank.
Yeah, it's probably jank. It's one of those probable jank. Definitely going to try it.
No, it's definitely worth it as a one-off, I think, in Malamar. I don't see it being good in really anywhere else, but
yeah,
when you're, that Malamar's were playing Pressure Mewtwo, Mewtwo GX, Shining Lugia, Shining Arceus. You know, they've gone through many.
They'll try in.
And that's why Malamar's great.
Yeah. I suppose we'll move swiftly on from Sigilif because nobody likes them. Nihilego, the baby Ultra Beast, and I quite like this one as well. It's a little nice one-off Pokemon to throw into Psychic decks. Nightcap. If this deck can only be used when your opponent has 2 prize cards remaining, choose an attack on one of your opponent's Pokemon in play and use it as this attack. That Zoroark's GX attack.
Yep.
That is powerful. And then empty tentacles, not what I thought it said there. Your opponent's active is now poisoned and confused, which in and of itself is not bad if it's like a poison deck you're doing, just to have like poison. Boom, there you go. As well as confusion on like one psychic. That's really, really nice. But yeah, Nightcap, man, that's a really powerful attack.
I got one of these on the first weekend of pre-release. I traded for it, so I didn't pull it because this is going straight in Buzzgarb Shrine deck.
Definitely.
And it's those kind of decks where you can control pretty well the number of prizes your opponent takes, so you're almost always guaranteed a sledgehammer turn, and you can almost always guarantee this as well. And it can just as a potential to swing the game completely back. I think it's really, really good.
Well, even if you open it, just being able to have that confuse on turn 1 is pretty good. So
Yeah,
that's what
definitely.
Persephone has, and that helps him out as well.
Yeah,
Definitely.
absolutely.
It's the closest we've had to a Sledgehammer Buzzwole, but like at power level wise, I think. I mean, Nightcap could win games quite easily. If your opponent's got 2 prize cards remaining, you must assume that you have around about the same in a kind of fair-paced game. And to be able to go bench Nihilego, switch it into the active, attach Psychic, boom, I'll use it. It doesn't even say it can't be GX attacks, so you can.
So
use
yeah,
that
you
GX
can
attack with
use
this.
Nightcap, choose Trickster GX, choose Nightcap,
Choose one of yours. Yeah,
choose Trickster GX again.
Right, I'll stuck in a loop again.
No, you use Nightcap.
Someone's going to need to
use
reset
Trickster
Al.
GX, use one of your own bench Pokemon.
Yes,
That's the play.
You could.
What
You genuinely could, and then you're leaving a 1 prize attack, a 1 prizer in the active rather than your 2 prize GX Pokemon.
I mean, and that's how you need to look at this card. It is essentially a GX attack in decks that don't play GX attackers. I mean, obviously you can play it in Malamar with GX attackers and things like that as well. But if you're thinking about Baby Buzzgarb and stuff like that, and Shrine decks in general that play Rainbow Energy or Unit Energy or whatever it is that you can use for this, it's just, I think it's great. I could see it possibly being more than just a one-of. I mean, someone's probably going to try and replace Garb with it as well. You know, there's loads of different things you could try and do with it, but I think
Nihilego.
it could be a thing. But I'm definitely thinking at least one in Buzzgarb Shrine for me.
Buzz Hiligo. Buzz Lego. I don't know how you say it. Let's move on from that one. That's such a good card, man. But next up is arguably one of the best cards in the set. It's the Naganadel and the not to be slept on 70 HP Poipole with Eye Opener to look at all of your face down prize cards and put them back down. So it's essentially a secret town map. It's like you get to look at all your prizes, you put them back down where they were, but you don't show your opponent, which is really quite nice because it was one of the big annoying things with Town Map was like you flipped over all your prizes and then your opponent went, oh, so you've got all your Lysanders prized. That's interesting. You know, like and they could play around that. It just keeps it secret. It's really, really nice. Naganadel, though, is busted good. Ability charge up. Once during your turn before your attack, you may attach a basic energy from your discard pile to this Pokemon. This, in and of itself, is an archetype. The Naganadel archetype will be coming out, and it will be coming out strong with things like Quagsire, Blacephalon, Tapu Koko GX. The list is endless. This is any basic energy from your discard pile to this Pokemon. It's so good. And then Turning Point, 3 colorless. So again, it can be any energy. 80 damage. If you've got exactly 3 prize cards remaining, it's 80 more damage. Do I need to say anything else? This card is broken.
No, it's
really
absolutely ridiculous.
He's 130 hit points, so it's not even like he's that easy to knock out.
160 damage coming out of a non-GX attacker. It's just insane.
That powers itself up.
Yeah,
from the discard.
It's just so good. And obviously, this and Blacephalon was tearing up Japan.
Yep.
And you've just mentioned some of the other ways that you can play it. And I think there's going to be a million other ways to play it
I think so as well. I think so as well. Those were the first three that popped into my head. Because
Definitely.
I've literally just watched a video by PTCG Radio talking about how Lost Thunder changes the format and how Lost Thunder changes the way we play. And this was one of the cards he talked at length about. And I was like, I'm not surprised because it's so good. The synergy with there's so many decks. And even just like theoretically, I'm not saying you would do this, but right, you'd put a 1/1 Poipole Naganadel line in, right? Or maybe 1/1 with Ditto Prism Star. And you just sit this on the bench. Just sit it there and don't do anything with it. As soon as one of your Pokemon gets knocked out and there's some energy in the discard, this then becomes a threat because you just start attaching some energy to it from the discard. You're not doing anything else with that energy anyway. So Naganadel starts to power up, and then when you have exactly 3 prize cards remaining, you're doing 160 damage for nothing. Like, you've not had to put in any effort to make this thing happen. It just kind of does it. I noticed when we were playing it at pre-release, like, I would get this thing out and just sit it on the bench, and it just did stuff all on its own. Unfortunately, I only had one of them, but like pre-release. But yeah, like any game it come out, it was a threat. It was doing stuff.
Absolutely, it's just a great card, and there's going to be so many ways to break it. I like the idea of playing it with like non-GX attackers. You know, like Xerneas Prism Star, for example.
Yes, definitely.
You know, just anything really that you want to
anything
do.
that can abuse energy on the bench. Anything that can abuse energy on the bench.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only downside is you're only getting that 160 if you have 3 prize cards remaining. So you're only getting that potentially 1 turn, 2 turns at most.
Yeah, of course.
So that's the only downside.
Yeah. Well, you will only ever get it 1 turn because assuming you took a knockout with a 160, which you're trying to do, you would only get it for the 1 turn. So definitely, but
the 80 is fine.
80 is good.
With
110 with a choice band is great. I just love the synergy with like literally anything that can abuse energy, anything that says for energy in play, anything that says for energy on your bench, anything that says move energy from your bench. This is the play. This is the card that goes with it, and it's just that is so many cards that we have.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'd love to see some more kind of some more cards come with that to be partnered with it, but I think we've talked enough about that for now.
Here's one for you.
Oh, go on then.
Naganadel, Venusaur, and then the new Shaman Prison Star.
That one's not out yet. What does that do?
Then you have 1 attack that just does an outrageous amount of damage. And then he gets knocked out and you don't have anything else.
What did Genesect do? Was that energy on you, or the Shining Genesect? Was that the energy on you, or was that in play?
Shining Genesect needed the energy on it, so...
On it.
Yeah.
Wait, it had an ability that let it transfer energy. Yeah, you could move energy from your bench Pokemon onto it, so you could use it with that.
There you go. Shining Genesect, Naganadel, Venusaur. That's a deck. That'll work. Next up on the list is Dialga. And I've got Al's name next to this because he is definitely the one that's going to play this card the most. Dialga, Al, tell me about it.
I'm excited. He's a good boy. He knocks out Zoroark GX.
He's a good boy.
He's a good boy. He knocks out Zoroark GX, and he's got 130 hit points. That makes him a good boy, even if he didn't have another.
He knocks out a Zoroark GX. Technically, yes.
No, he knocks out a Zorua, technically.
Yeah. 60 damage, devolve your opponent's active evolved Pokemon, and put the highest stage into their hand. So, for metal, colorless, it will knock out pretty much like most of evolving Pokemon at this stage, like Zoroas and People are going to
Pretty
be
much,
playing
eh?
the 60 HP
Sounds
stuff
dumb,
anyway.
eh?
Oh my god, pair it with Potown. And then it
Hmm?
knocks out anything that evolves.
Yeah, if it had to evolve through
Well.
Potown, anything evolves.
Hmm.
Apart from Chansey in my
And he's got
upcoming
his
Blissey deck.
Power Blast attack, or whatever it's called, for 130, which is really useful for knocking out things like your baby Buzzwole.
Yeah,
So he's
metal,
just all around
colorless,
good. And
130.
I don't know. Like, I'm sure Magnezone decks will try him out, and that'll probably be the place he ends up. But I
Yes.
don't know. Like, he's a good option for metal type decks when they make a comeback, which they inevitably will. I'm very confident in
At some point, yeah.
At some
Yeah.
point.
You
Hopefully.
could try and make a deck out of him on his own.
I don't know. I think you'd want more options than just him.
I think you
Magnezone,
probably put other
Shrine of
things
Punishments.
with him. But there is there's potential for him if you have the ability to just devolve and take away your opponent's big hitters. That's a pretty powerful ability.
4 of them, 4 Shrine of Punishments.
Yeah.
Get your Magnezone out and just metal DCE, just because you would definitely play DCE in it.
Mm-hmm.
And then any other DCE attackers could be useful as well. So even if, like, obviously Potown wouldn't be an option if you're using Shrine, so you could put Baby Coco in it. Spread a couple of times with Coco, start time down and everything. Yeah, I mean, I've seen worse decks.
It could be interesting.
I've seen worse decks. Next up, Genesect GX, which a couple of people pulled. Who pulled one of these? Was it one of you guys?
Yeah, I pulled one as well.
You pulled
I
one.
pulled a full art.
And you pulled a full art. Yeah. This card's not bad. This card...
Oh, Gary pulled one, and I put it into the Lost Zone with Lost Purge GX.
Gross. Gross. Oh, man.
Shoutouts to Gary.
Gross to everyone involved. The fact that the Lugia versus Genesect battle happened at our pre-release is just not fair on anyone involved.
Can I just throw in that I traded my full art for a Sceptile?
Okay, fair enough. So double cassette, you may attach 2 tool cards to this Pokemon. I mean, that's great. You can attach 2 choice bands, 2 Fine Fury belts, and expanded. There's plenty of options to double up, and you can also, it doesn't have to be the same tool either, so that's really cool. And then metal colorless, 130 damage, vanilla. And then break buster, 190 damage. Don't apply weakness or resistance. I mean, it's just a damage beast. There's nothing it's doing that's really all that special, but having the 2 tool cards makes it really, really cool. Because the numbers you end up hitting with double choice band, for example, is really good.
Yeah, he's a really solid option for metal decks, like we were just talking about.
Yeah,
so I'm sure it'll get played somewhere, but I don't know.
The only problem is we don't have crazy good tools right now. We've got, I mean, choice band's great, but you can only run 4 of them. Apart from that, there's nothing you really need to unless you go super defensive with them and put 2 metal frying pans on them or something like that. Yeah, I mean, there's plays. He's cool. He's something. Someone will make a deck with him, and it'll be reasonably good. But it's just never going to be top tier for me. I just don't see it.
No, I'm with you.
Something that will be top tier though is my big buddy Alan. Right, he's brought his Ninetales this time, and this card, man, this helps out everything in the format. Alolan Ninetales GX, Mysterious Guidance. When you play this a card from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon, search your deck for 2 item cards, reveal them, put them in your hand. Busted straight away. And then the attacks, Sublimation GX, just knock out an Ultra Beast. Just it doesn't like Ultra Beast. It's a Fairy and a colorless. And then same cost, Fairy colorless, Snowy Wind, 70 damage, and then 70 to one of the bench. I mean, such a good card. Such a good card.
It's absolutely ridiculous. It might be the best card in the set.
It almost certainly is.
It breaks Buzzwole. It brings back Decidueye. It breaks another 19 decks nobody's thought of yet. I don't even know if it's an archetype all on its own, but it's it's just a card that it's like a Lele. It's just going to be such a staple in so many different decks.
Absolutely, and I I implore anybody listening, if you have a PokeBeach subscription and you haven't read Stefan Ivanov's article about this, do it. It is fantastic. And one of the things that he suggested in it is this could make Gardy relevant again.
Oh yeah,
And
definitely.
John, you and I loved Gardy back in the day, and we've wanted Gardy to be back at the top for forever since it went
Bring back
away.
my fairy princesses,
And,
man.
Well, that's what we all want. You want Guardy to come back. I want Metal Dex to be good.
just not at the same time. I'll play metal after Gardy's away again. But it's just it gets you those candies, and you know, if you set up 2 Gardies, it's so difficult for your opponent to deal with that. The other great thing is that it evolves from Beacon Vulpix.
Yep.
So Guardy decks were playing that anyway. You just put a higher count, so it's more likely you're going to start with it. We're also getting the baby Ninetales type shifted to Fairy that has the ability that stops damage from EXs and GXs. So you could play like, it's not in this one, but it's coming next one, I believe. So that gives another option for the evolutions from Vulpix as well. It's just, I'm super excited. The first deck I'm going to play this with is definitely Gardy when I get it. That article that Stefan Ivanov wrote just totally convinced me that it can be amazing again, and I'll try it out. But you're right, Buzzwole, Decidueye, there's so many.
I'm choking to play this with Decidueye. I love my Decidueyes, man, and I got in the Decidueye band like way too late. I remember when it first came out, I went to get them, and I think I got like 2, and they were quite expensive when they first came out, and eventually I ended up playing something different. I was just like, nah, it's fine. And then like months later, I bought them, and I built Zoroark Decidueye, and I was like, this is such a cool deck. I really like it. It's a hard deck to play, but I like spread. I like spread as an archetype, and although Ninetales GX has this really nice spread attack, 70-30, getting 100 damage on the board. Don't forget Baby Lily is still a thing.
Yeah.
The Baby Lily can just move around all the damage, so you just set up all the damage, and then just boom, here it comes, and then the game's over. Mysterious Guidance can find you Ultra Balls to find the Lily. It can find you Choice Bands. It can find everything. Just everything that's good's an item, let's be honest. It can find you double custom catchers, or whatever the hell they're called. The Lysander cards that you play 2 of that no one can ever remember the name of. Because you guys were struggling at it the podcast last week when I was listening to it. I thought, I know what it's called. And I tried to tell you down the phone, and then I've forgotten again. I think it's custom catcher.
I think you're right.
But yeah, really cool card.
There's 2 things about it that I feel I need to say. First thing is that it's great and all that other kind of stuff, but it's going to be so expensive.
Yeah, and on that note, if anyone listening, really likes the podcast and wants to donate on Unown Ninetales, I'm more than willing to take them. And I'll make 9 videos in your name. Exactly 9, no more, no less. Thank you.
And all those videos going to feature Ninetales?
They will feature whatever I have at the time, or whatever the person wants. It doesn't matter. And so just be aware that option is there. So moving quickly on, and it's another card for Al, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be another good boy, Granbull Al.
Well, yeah, he's another good dog. Granbull, I saw it in the spoilers for the set, and I thought, that looks really cool. He does 160 for 1 energy, and I really love it when I don't have any cards in the hand, because then I don't have to think. So, Granbull's deck, we'll find out if it's any good by this time next week. But I believe it's good because it got 9th place at Champions League Japan, and that was like 1,000. Like, it was a huge tournament.
I think it was 1,300 that showed up to that. Yeah.
It's colossal.
So how do you play it then? How do you make sure you have no cards in hand?
You play Mag Cargo, 3 copies of Oranguru, 4 copies of Apricord Maker, and just 1 copy of Mysterious Treasure, even though you have Dragon Pokemon deck. You run Lost Mixer, so that you can just get rid of cards and take the card that you put Mag Cargo on top of your deck. You run 4 copies of Great Ball.
Because it's the best ball card.
It's the best card. Great Ball is actually really good.
Great Ball is really good.
That's not a meme.
Right, okay.
It's an insane deck, and I just really want to play it because I believe in it.
It's an interesting list. It will
It got
definitely.
9th place out of over 1,000 players, and I'm pretty confident that only one guy was insane enough to come up with it.
I think you might be right.
So
Well,
that is a vote of confidence. It's
we
punching
will-
above its weight.
We will definitely find out much more about that next week when Al has completely lost his mind.
How many Granvilles do you actually have right now?
I have 1,
Okay, so you need
so
to
I'm
get
going to need
another-
the rest over you guys.
Yeah.
I've got 2 that I can give him, so we're almost
I'll do
there.
that.
You're not supposed to give him them, John. We don't want this to be good.
Well, I'm gonna loan him the Granvilles.
Yeah, and then
I
I'll
wanna see it
sandbag on
happen.
purpose and pretend the deck is jank.
So he's got So he's gonna lower the value of Granvilles so that I'm like, oh mate, just have them, whatever. And then I'll play him playing like the super meta Ninetales Buzzwole deck. He'll still be rocking that good boy jank, and then I'll be like, wait, how am I losing, Al? How did it happen again? Why does my deck hate me? Why have I drawn 9 energy in a row when I only play 8? And then moving swiftly on, Mimikyu GX is a card that I really like. And it's one that I haven't seen I'll look at, so it must be good. Perplex for 1 energy fairy. Your active Pokemon, your opponent's active Pokemon is now confused. I mean, it's fine. Cascading Barrage is the move you're playing it for. Fairy colorless, 10 damage plus. This attack does 30 damage for each damage counter on your opponent's active Pokemon. Now, I did already say in this podcast how much I miss my Decidueyes. They're going to be coming into this Mimikyu deck because I feel like that could be cool. You know, spread some feather arrows and then just do massive one-shots with the Cascading Barrage. And then Dream Fear GX for 1 fairy. Shuffle one of your opponent's bench Pokemon and all cards attached to it into their deck. It's like backwards Tapu Fini. It's fine. It's a fine little fun GX, and I think it could be quite cool.
Yeah, I think it's similar to something like Coffee Grigus that we were talking about earlier on, where it's going to be fun to play. It's going to be a good wee deck. Is it going to be super competitive? Probably not. But it's still going to be good to play, and it's going to be relatively inexpensive to pick up the Mimikyus, you would assume as well.
I would assume so, yeah.
Which is always a good thing when you're looking at 25 quid Ninetales and 20 quid Blacephalons and all this kind of stuff.
And the Zeraoras.
Yeah, and the rest.
And everything else from this set that just happens to be 20 quid plus.
That's what makes Granbull the best boy.
Oh man. Right. The last Pokemon I have on the list, guys, is we talked about this a few weeks ago, and maybe my top 10's changed from then, but this was the card I was calling the best card in the set. Ditto Prism Star. 40 HP basic Pokemon. It has only an ability, and the ability says evolve into anything. During your turn, you may play a stage 1 evolution card from your hand onto this Pokemon to evolve it, so it can evolve into any stage 1 Pokemon. And I think that is a bit broken. It's so good. Like,
I mean, the name of the game is consistency.
yes.
You know what I mean? Like, you can have all your, the spice, all the text, everything else you want, but your deck has to have a purpose, and it needs to do its purpose more often than not before you can even think of adding in the rest. And this is and Ditto covers both of these. It gives you consistency for your stage 1s or your stage 2s, and it gives you the opportunity to take in stage 1s as well, or stage 2s if you want to be really clever about it.
I would say, like I was talking earlier about the Grand Bull deck, and he was talking about how it plays my Cargo and it plays Grand Bull and it plays Guru, blah blah blah. Ditto Prism Star must be a must in that deck, right? Because then once you find the Ditto, it can evolve into either the Magcargo or the Grand Bull. Do you know what I mean? So stuff like that makes it so versatile. Do you know what I mean? It can go in anything, as Ian said. You could put it in, for example, as a 5th Poi Pole in an Agonadal deck, and then decide, well, do you know what? Since I have this option, I could play an Alolan Muck. Maybe my opponent doesn't have basic abilities. Alolan Muck just gets discarded off an Ultra Ball. I don't have to think about it anymore. It's 1 extra card. The Ditto has already evolved into an Agonadal. It's fine. I had a Poi Pole prized anyway. Do you know what I mean? Like, it just adds so much consistency, and it's just perfect.
Like, considering that, like, Ninetales GX is like 25 quid card, that's expensive. Ditto Prism is probably the best, like, price performance you're going to get.
Yeah.
If that's
you're probably right.
Because it's not been that expensive. I've seen it online for like £6.
Yeah, well, it's a Prism Star, so people only need 1 copy.
Yes, exactly. I hope they think the same about some of the stadiums that are coming out, because I think I want every one of them.
Yeah, same.
So I'm hoping they don't get too expensive. But yeah, Ditto Prism Star, man. For me, maybe best card in set.
He's top like 3 at worst.
He's definitely top 3. Last week, if you'd asked me, I'd have said, well, actually 2 weeks ago, if you'd asked me, I'd have said this was the top. This was the best card in the set. After seeing Naganadel actually perform, I'm actually leaning more towards a Naganadel now. Blacephalon as well, like, because of Naganadel is amazing, but I think Ditto is definitely up in the conversation for it.
Blacephalon turns on a whole bunch of archetypes. Alolan Ninetales like makes a whole bunch of archetypes work.
Yes.
Ditto Prism makes both of those better.
Yes.
Because they're both stage 1.
The thing that I really like the idea of using this for is the one of Macho to stop bench damage.
0-1 Macho Clown.
I think when you're thinking about, like, talking about spread, so Alolan Ninetales spreading damage and Jet Punch and, you know, Decidueyes and Cocos and all this stuff, I think just having that Macho in there and knowing you've got that option, so if you come up against something like a Decidueye, you can really limit what they can do.
Now you don't have to go all the way to Archie's Ace in the Hole just to get a Macho card.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. I mean,
people were doing.
We're just going to see it in everything. We're going to see it in absolutely everything. The Ditto Prism Star, get one now. Like, why not? You're going to use it. Apart from that, we have some trainers to talk about, and I'm going to gloss over quite a few of these because we are kind of pushed for time, and I feel like we've talked about a lot of these trainers over the past 2 kind of set review videos anyway. So I'll quickly just run through some of the more prominent ones and before we finish up. So the first one I'm seeing here is Counter Gain. Counter Gain is amazing. I absolutely love it. If you're behind on prizes, you can attach this to a Pokemon and your attack costs 1 colorless less. We seen this. There was a card that did this way back in like Black and White era, and I forget what it was called. But I think it like reduced the cost for Plasma Pokemon or something like that. And that saw a lot of play. So I think Counter Gain is going to be, I think it's going to be great. For decks that like to come from behind, like Spread, or like Counter Gain's a must, surely.
Yeah.
Just me?
No, I'm with you.
No?
Yeah, I think it's really good. You need to put it in the right deck, obviously.
Yeah.
But even like going back to Alolan Ninetales, that gives you, if you put one of these in the deck, well, Alolan Ninetales can search it out for you, so you can have that swing turn that you need. I think it's got a lot of potential.
You could use it instead of Counter Energy. And with your Adventuring Satchel, you can actually search for it. Whereas, can you really search for your Counter Energy?
No.
So it's
You can energy lotto for it, and that's about it.
yeah. But whereas with this, you can sort of
You
search
can
for
search
it
it.
like in a multiple different ways. You can search for it. So yeah, I
Yeah,
would say it's definitely an alternative to counter energy.
it's a lovely little card. Electric power we have talked about, but definitely worth a quick mention. Lightning Pokemon's attacks do 30 more damage to your opponent's active. That is plus power times 3, just for Lightning Pokemon, of course. But I mean, that's amazing.
Like
It is called Custom Catcher as well. I've just seen that there.
Mhm.
It is called Custom Catcher. Sorry, what did you say
that
then?
just like single-handedly makes electric decks relevant.
Yes, it does.
Absolutely.
4 of electric power in any aggressive electric deck, and suddenly it's not a Tapu Koko GX hitting for 130. It's not a baby Coco hitting for 20 to the active. It's becoming 50 choice bands, 80, maybe 2 electric powers. Do you know what I mean? Like suddenly baby Coco is becoming really, really interesting with these cards.
Telling you, February time, man. February. Ampharos GX 9 tails Electro Power.
Mate, yeah.
I
Oh, it's
cannot
like so
wait
good
for that.
there's like 2 cards coming out in the next set that mention it by name.
Yeah,
There's Ampharos and one that shuffles it back into your deck.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
busted good.
Yeah, Ampharos is going to really, really like it. And then I think it's called like Electro Power Battery Pack or something. That's like that. It brings them back. But yeah, it's cool.
I think I've come to terms that they aren't going to print a Butterfree GX.
Okay.
So Ampharos GX is probably the next best thing. So I'm happy that I'm at least going to get a chance to play that.
We're getting a few Prism Star stadiums. We'll talk about them kind of all at the same time here. Jacob will love finding this little artwork here for all 3 of them. Heat Factory Prism Star, Life's Forest Prism Star, and Thunder Mountain Prism Star. All Prism Star stadiums, they all have the same relative effect where they can't be discarded by item or supporter cards. So they can only be bumped by other stadiums. Or if
like
there's a
attacks or
Pokemon with
abilities.
an attack or ability, yeah, that specifically mentions stadiums, but there's not very many of them. So Heat Factory is going to buff fire types. So once you return for your attack, discard a fire energy from your hand. If you do, draw 3 cards. Fantastic. Life's Forest Prism Star. Once during your turn, you may heal 60 damage and remove all special conditions from one of your grass Pokemon. And Thunder Mountain reduces the cost of each player's lightning Pokemon by 1 lightning, which is amazing. that for me is my favorite one, the Thunder Mountain one. I'm really into electric decks this set, but the Heat Factory one I think is also completely busted, and even Life's Forest I think definitely has its place.
Yeah.
Is there any of these you guys have picked up already, or are you?
I've got the Life Forest one purely because I'm building Sceptile, and I think it can be really good in Sceptile, and also that deck doesn't have any natural stadiums, I feel, so having that in there to counter your opponent's Thunder Mountain or Heat Factory or even Shrine of Punishment, whatever it may be, is a pretty good use of a space as well.
Yeah, decks have to bring stadiums now. You can't just leave it all out.
But the problem is only certain decks have access to stadiums. They all have access to them, but the stadiums that are actually any use.
Yeah,
that's why you just run
something like Rayquaza just doesn't have a stadium. You know what I mean? It doesn't have space for a stadium. So getting out one of these, like because Rayquaza won't play stadiums, it might play a field blower. It probably won't, but it might play a field blower instead. So these Heat Factories or Life Forest, they're not going anywhere. They're really, really nice that they can't be field blowered. But yeah, that was them. I like all of them. I think the Thunder Mountain one's definitely my favorite. I'm definitely excited to build some lightning type decks with all the new buffs they've got, because they've not been great for a little while. Apart from that, what else is there? We've got Professor Elm's lecture. I think we've mentioned quite a few times. It's basically grab 3 Pokemon 60 HP or less and put them into your hand. I mean, that's awesome. It's really, really good in the right deck, obviously.
I mean, that makes Zoroark. Zoroark is not irrelevant by any stretch, but it makes it relevant again in a much more obvious kind of way. This kind of apricorn maker for Nest Ball or Lily and hope that you hit the Nest Balls and the Zoras and things like that.
Yeah,
It's just
not ideal.
It's nowhere near as good as Bridget used to be for these decks. And let's face it, in Zoroark, you were probably Bridgeting for 2 Zoros and a Rockruff or something like that. Anyway. So okay, it sucks you can't play a 70 HP Rockruff, but it's worth it to have it out of the bench, out in the bench on turn 1.
It's also nice to note that it's 3 Pokemon to your hand. So theory goes that you could, for example, maybe it's late in the game, maybe you just need 1 Zoroark to win the game, for example. You could, like Professor Elm's lecture, to get 3 Zoroas out to then Ultra Ball 2 of them, for example. Like I've no idea why you would do that, but like in the certain circumstance where it works, they're in your hand, which is just a better resource than them being straight to the bench.
Oh, definitely.
You don't have to fill the bench. You're thin in the deck. There's lots of nice options that come with putting them into your hand as opposed to put them straight to the bench.
Definitely. I'm just upset we're not using its proper name.
Sorry, Professor Bridget.
Thank you.
And there's also the fact that you don't actually need to get basic Pokemon as well, because stuff like Lost March does have evolving 60 HP Pokemon that you can grab with it. So there is certainly plays there, and I'm sure we'll see other plays in the future where there'll be some 60 HP Pokemon with a coming into playability that you're going to get with Professor Elm's lecture, and it's going to be brilliant. But yeah, we'll see how that one goes. Spell tag we mentioned already. I won't go into that. We talked about that quite a lot in the last video. So check that one out if you want to see it. The last card I'll talk about tonight, because we're all getting so tired, and it's been about an hour, I'm sure. Last card is Sightseer, and I think this is probably my favorite supporter coming out of this. This is a replacement for Professor Sycamore, and it's great. Draw cards from your deck until you have 5 cards in your hand. Before drawing, you may discard any number of cards from your hand. So in something like Malamar, I keep going back to Malamar. In something like Malamar, you discard all your psychic energies and you just draw a brand new hand of 5. Like, that's great. Having the option to get stuff into your discard is nice. Not for every deck, but for some decks, it's going to be a lot of fun. Naganadel decks like to discard energy. Malamar likes to discard energy. And just cycle through the deck. I love it. I made sure to get my playset of it at least.
I'm with you on it being great. It's not Sycamore.
No.
In some ways it's better than Sycamore though, because you get to choose what you keep. So the thing that immediately jumped out to me was the keep the rare candy, ditch the hand, and try and get the stage 2 Pokemon with it. You know, that kind of thing.
Of course.
Is it better than Tate and Liza?
Yes.
Yeah, I would say so.
I
think it is a
firm
replacement. I think this is a firm replacement for Tate and Liza in a lot of decks that don't really need the Switch. I mean, how often do you even use the Switch? It's
once.
so rare.
And the whole time
it's so rare. I think this is a very firm replacement for Tate and Liza. If not, even for one of the Lilies, maybe. Like I could see decks playing 3 Sightseer, 2 Lily, 4 Cynthia, or something like that.
Yeah.
Rather than, for example, say 4 Cynthia, 4 Lily. You know, I could see Sightseer creeping above the Lily count quite easily. Some decks I see it being a 4 of, but like for the early time now, I can see it being pretty popular. It's a really nice card.
It depends on the deck as well, because in theory, Professor Bridget's a Lily replacement in Zoroark, for example.
So you turn 1.
So you might want you'll be playing less Lily. I mean, you might end up playing 1 Lily or even no Lily in some deck.
Even in Zoroark though, like if you have to play, for example, say you play 2 or 3 Professor Elm's lecture just to make sure you get it on turn 1, Sightseer is then a good option to discard and draw the rest. Maybe not in Zoroark, for example, because obviously you can just trade away the rest. But in decks that play several of these to set up with, having a Sightseer to discard them, just get rid of them, and just draw some new cards is really, really good. Really good option.
Absolutely.
But yeah, That was a big set. I'm exhausted. That was bigger than I was expecting it to be. Giggity goo, and the set itself is what, like 200 and something cards.
Yeah, it's like 230-ish.
I think it's 234 at final count.
That's not okay, man. That's not okay. One thing I have noticed with this set is just the amount of stuff that, like, they could have taken away a good 100 cards of this set, and we wouldn't have mentioned any of the ones that they've taken out, and like nobody would have noticed. It would have been fine.
Yeah,
there's so much jank in it.
Exactly. That's the problem. For every good card that you really want to pull, there's at least one card that's complete jank that you know you're going to pull.
Yeah. I'm not even that bothered, but most of the GXs I feel have like a fairly decent place. I'm kind of scrolling through it as I talk about this. There's not many GXs that I would be gutted to pull. Do you know what I mean? Even like Suicune isn't great. I got one. I was pretty happy with it. Most of the GXs are pretty okay. Tyranitar's probably a bit bad. Sigilif is probably a bit bad. Lugia is probably a bit bad. But even then, they're not the worst GXs we've ever seen.
We're not talking Raikou.
No, the GXs seem fine. The trainers is a fairly concise list. It seems fine. The Pokemon is unbelievable. I went to 2 pre-releases the past couple of weeks and don't have a playset of like basic stuff. I have like 3 80 HP Slugmas, and I'm sure I traded for 2 of them. Like,
I don't think I have any.
I didn't get a playset of Trumbeaks. I had to trade for them. I didn't get any other Night Marchers bar Natu. I got a 4 set of Natu. I had to trade for Hoppip. Do you know what I mean? Like, come on. This is not okay. Absolutely amazing set. I love this set. There's so much in it. But holy God, do we not need stuff like Fortress, Alolan Dugtrio, Umbreon, Alolan Persian.
Hold on. I'm going to defend Umbreon a bit here.
Oh, what does Umbreon do?
Umbreon does
right, okay.
Shaman's Rally Back, except he's a Dark type.
Yeah.
So you can put a Dark Energy on, take a Revenge Knockout on something that's weak.
Fair enough.
He's got a use.
We don't need the Chandelure line.
Steven's playing the Chandelure line.
He can have it.
That's what I said.
He can have all of them that I pull. Because there's just so many cards in this set. Like, see if this was going to be the best set of all time, right? I think we've got the cards to do it. Like, we've got enough cards. We talked about the vast majority of them, and there's some we missed. But we've got enough cards in this set to build a 150 card set and every card being more or less playable. And I don't think anyone would have had a problem with that. See, if you're going to do a 200 card set, do we really need 2 Larvitars in it? Do you know what I mean? Pick one. Do we need 2 Hoppips? No, pick one. You know, that kind of stuff's annoying me. But there's 2 Chikorritas, for God's sake. But yes. That ran over.
Well, we'll be getting that rant again, because it looks like Team Up's going to be another big one.
Oh, it will be, won't it? Yeah, it will be, because there's like 4 Japanese sets or something will need to be in it. But yeah, we'll have that rant in a couple of months' time when the set actually drops. But
and when that one comes out, for all we know, all these new decks that are coming out at Lost Thunder and things, and we're all so excited to play this, and this is going to be great. And then 3 months' time, tag team drop, and everybody's just playing tag team GXs because they just won.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just
Puzzle Ferrous of Venusaur, that's the deck.
It's just all money.
There's one thing that we didn't mention in this video.
Alright, what's that? What did we forget?
Pause much.
Kiawe.
The streak lives.
Well,
It's Snorlax Eevee Kiawe. Done.
just Kiawe straight on your Blacephalons.
Kiawe on the yeah, on my card.
Nah.
That makes it too easy. That makes it too easy.
to jank.
Yeah.
How about we Kiawe to
Kiawe to
how about we-
Naganadel.
No.
It's
No,
colourless.
you Kiawe onto your active. It doesn't matter
No,
what
no,
it
no.
is, but you do it so that you can hit Shuckle GX.
Yes. This is how. No, we're going to Kiawe on a Lugia GX this week. That's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
So that we can do a big pelagic blade to knock out some stuff and massive. I'm so done now.
Kiawe onto Baby Ho-Oh. Oh no, wait, no, because then you're only
No,
doing
that's
like,
useless.
that's-
Yeah,
Right.
Kiawe onto Baby Ho, then three rainbow paintbrushes.
See, it works.
Oh.
See, see, this is why me and Al work great, because our minds are aligned.
You would actually only need 2 rainbow paintbrushes because you've already got 1 energy on there. So it's
Yeah,
fine.
but you can keep putting more energy on it as different types to increase damage.
Yeah, because it does 30 more damage for each type of basic energy attached. So you can attach 10 energies to it if you want. Like, there's no limit to it. Oh my god, there's your answer. Naganadel with Ho-Oh with every energy known to man in the discard pile. And then use energy swap thing to put onto Ho-Oh.
Can I just say that the 50 HP Mareep is beautiful and I would love to hug it?
I also want to add that the views expressed in this video don't actually reflect the whole group of Donk TCG and mostly just Jacob.
Yeah.
You laugh,
Well, guys.
but you get mad when I beat you with it. So
Mate, please do. Right. I'm going to go to bed. So, thank you for putting up with us, guys. If you've made it to the end of this video, you know, you got to leave us a comment below. Just tell us why. No, that's not what I meant to say. Yeah.
That sounds about right. Let's go with that.
Have you learned anything? Did you get smarter? Did it hurt?
did it hurt? Do you need
But
counselling?
No, seriously. Regular podcasts will resume as of next week. We have loads of stuff that we will eventually talk about, and there is a little bit of news regarding shiny new Pokemon cards coming out. Nothing too crazy, but we'll be talking about all the new decks we're making, and we will get to find out just how good a boy Granbuild was for Al. So I'm sure you're all excited, but we got to leave it there. So thank you very much for listening, guys, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
See you next